viewers and listeners. It is always a pleasure interacting with you. I hope that you have had a chance to look at the videos that we have done. If you haven't, please take time and go through them. But even more, I hope that you will enjoy the topic that we have at hand. I'm Dr. Duncan Elliott Tembo, and I'll be talking to you on the subject that is titled salvation. Obviously, I look at this topic from a very different perspective. And as I discuss it, and for you to be able to appreciate the perspective from which we'll be discussing this, I have chosen to start with, a very hypothetical situation. You see, a story is told about the journey on the train. Obviously, at a time like now, our trains are very advanced. We have got electric trains, that moves at super speeds. But yeah, when you look at where we are coming from, it was not like that. Okay? We used to have, those locomotive trains. I mean, even just to move, say, a distance of 500-600 kilometers, it would probably take a number of days, even a week or so. Those are the types of trains that used to be there. That was the commonest transport at the time and in that place. The train would have a number of coaches. It would carry a lot of people, So one time people were moving from one place to the other. And yeah, it had to cross a bridge, or is it bridges at some point? So on a certain day, this man had gone fishing. He was a fisherman, So he was catching fish. He was enjoying what he was doing. And he was having, a good catch. And as that was happening, suddenly the bridge for the train was blown. And when he looked behind, it all collapsed in water. He obviously got worried because he knew that on that day, a train was supposed to pass from one side to the other side. And according to his timing, it was not far from that time that the train, is expected to pass. He cannot continue with his fishing. He decides that he should quickly hurry and go to the next station to let them know so that the train could stop there. However, when he started off, he remembers that he will not be able to reach the station before he meets the train. So he comes up with, another plan. He's very intelligent. He picks up red flags, starts planting them along the rail line with hopes that when the locomotive driver sees that, they will be able to send a message because they are red in color. And he stood, a few meters from where the flags ended. And before long, the train was coming with a lot of trucks, carrying a lot of people. And I believe it should be very exciting because, these people want to get to where they were going. The gentleman is standing, he's got no shirt, he's only in a short, because that is the common dressing, for the fishermen at that time. I hope it's not still the same. He sees that the train passes the first flag, the next one, and now almost all of them, they have passed. It's not because the locomotive, driver has not seen the flags. He has seen them, but according to him, they do not mean anything. When this gentleman saw this, he gets worried. He gets worried and he has to come up with another plan immediately, because the whole people on the train are headed for a disaster. He decides to stand on the side and start stopping. The locomotive driver looks at him. He has no shirt. The short itself is not in good state, and according to him, it just represents a madman. He continues to do this. When you see the train is not stopping, it's almost passing the last point. It only has a few meters before it gets to the broken bridge, and he knows that it has no chance to stop. He comes up, with the final plan, his last decision. He throws himself in front of the train, and the train runs over him. The locomotive driver realizes that the gentleman who was standing on the side has thrown himself in front of the train. He's been chopped in pieces. He starts to slow down, not because he's aware that there is no bridge, but because he wants to see who he has killed. Those he's carrying, who are not aware of what is happening, they start to complain, because as far as they were concerned, he's just stopping anyhow. And it doesn't make sense that he should stop where there is no station, because they are in a hurry to get home. When he finally stops, he comes down, he looks in front, and notices there is no bridge. He now remembers the flag that he had ignored. He now remembers the man who looked like a madman and standing on the side trying to stop him. And in his mind, he begins to imagine how he and all the people he had carried were going to plunge into water and die. He thinks of how somebody has offered his life. He has sacrificed his life, to be able to save all those that were, on the highway to go and die. And it's from this perspective that I come to discuss salvation. You see, when you talk about salvation, it comes from the word save. To save somebody. To take somebody out of danger. That's what we are referring to. So in this case, salvation, we are saying, somebody was headed for serious danger. Someone is in a position where he would have gotten injured, he could have died, but then through the intervention of another person, or through a situation that has occurred, he or she has been saved from that. And this is the situation that we have. If you look at our Christian life, the Bible is very clear that when sin, entered the world, when sin entered humankind, we were all destined to die. And God, because He loved us so much, He devised a plan to save humankind. And this is why the Bible in John chapter 3 verse 16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His begotten Son, so that whosoever believes in Him should not perish but have everlasting life." You will notice that Christ, came to die for our sins, for the sins of humankind. He came to die in a very cruel way so that, humanity can be saved. And this is the situation, that we are looking at. When you look at these people, after noticing what happened, they think about how they were going to die. In appreciation, they stayed there for a number of people, to send off that person, to mourn that person. But what actually they are doing is to take, that moment to think about what has happened in their lives. And this is how they appreciated that person. What about you and me? How do we treat the salvation, that came at a great price? Do you take it like just one of those things? Are you living a life that shows that you're grateful, for Christ having died for you on that cross of Calvary, having saved you and me, from the death that we are destined to die? I want you to critically think about that. These are important questions that we need to keep asking ourselves. I'm not saying give me an answer, but it would be nice for you to reflect on that and take a true position. If you notice that, you are on a path that does not bring glory and honor unto God, it is time, to think twice about that. Salvation has come for all. The choice is up to you and up to me. The way we take is entirely up to you and up to me. I am hoping that you have gotten something out of this interaction. Please take time to, just view the other videos that we have done, share them with others, but even more, subscribe. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you.